Yeah, what's going on, guys? Back in the studio again. Yeah. This one I came up with a couple days ago. It's really fun to play along to on these organs and electric pianos. So I'm gonna start doing that right now. What's up, Ambient? Man, I love playing this stuff. Never gets old on the Fantom. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I love making music in my little space station, you know? Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. But you know what the truth of the matter is that, here, let me bring down the volume of that just a little bit here. Sorry about that. So, this little progression is just in C major, really, you know? C major is the same as A minor, right? So if you play, you know, A minor, it will work. If you play C major, it will work. I'll demonstrate this. Check this out. Anyone can do this, is my point. Correct. You see now. So I totally agree with you. You know, there's knowing the theory, right? And then there's playing from the heart, which is, you know, part of it, I think. The theory part of it makes you more confident, I feel, to try things outside your, you know, whatever your basic understanding may happen to be. C to C, A to A, all the white keys. That's what I kind of think about, and I just avoid the F, you know, the fourth in C, and then, you know, what would that be, the 6 in A. Try to avoid those Fs and just keep to like the blues scale. And I think in that way, I'm able to make it sound pretty funky, like going in and out of different things, you know? I'm definitely gonna subscribe to your channel, bro. A name like the Ambient Assembly, you probably have some cool stuff. I'm excited to hear that. Steve, this is your other channel. Oh man, that's great. That's cool. I like that name. I like that name. I love alliteration. You guys know how I love alliteration. Oh man, I love playing this Fantom. I think, yo, the organs and the electric pianos on this thing are so fun. So fun to play. So I understand that. So what I've been doing with my students lately in our lessons is I've been forcing them to sing along, you know? Like when we do just basic counting, or when we're counting like 1 and 2 and 3 and all that stuff, I'm starting to have them actually sing the pitches instead. You know what I mean? If you can sing the pitches, I feel like you have a much better chance of understanding how the solo's supposed to go. That's the big disconnect I feel from the students to where I understand music, is they're afraid to try to solo. They're afraid to try to figure out what sounds good, you know? So I think this activity of having them count at the same time and like singing the pitches, like for do, re, mi, and all that, for whatever they happen to be playing, I feel like we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there with the kids faster than I ever got there in lessons. Even when I hear this now, in my mind, before, like we talked about, I just imagine a guitar. Obviously, you know, my piano skills can go beyond my voice skills, but at least it's giving me a template of some kind in my mind, like how to compose such a thing. Over the years, though, I've realized that, you know, just the first and the third will be enough, you know? Student must have different goals. Some want to learn theory, some want to learn songs. So the way that I am doing mine, anyway, the lessons anyway, is I teach them the scale technique first through the circle of fifths. That's a huge part of what I'm doing. Do the circle of fifths, circle of fourths the other way, right? I have them playing it in 2 octaves. And then by the time we do reach a book, they can already memorize songs because they've already memorized all these scales. So I feel like the foundation for the scale thing is huge. Once they figure that out, that's when I start introducing chord sheets right away, you know, where I can show them, okay, you know the E major scale, how many sharps does it have? Okay, put your fingers in E major. Now look at this chord sheet. What does this mean? You know, the chord sheet will say B minor 7, whatever, E minor, A major 7, or whatever the fuck. And they're able to formulaically figure it out, you know, like where do my fingers go? And that makes sense to me. That makes sense to teach them in that way. Then I deliver the book stuff and then the sheet music. And in this way, when we're reading the basic music, let me turn this off. When we're reading the basic music, I'm able to show them within each measure what the chord diagram would be, you know, like what the chord would be. Like this is an E minor phrase, this is an A major 7 phrase, and why is that? Because they can pick out the notes that belong to that chord structure. And they're very young, Steve. They're very young, you know, like my youngest is 9 or 10 years old. He can already play 2 octave scales. He can already jam. He can already read chord charts, and he can already read sheet music. What he needs help with is the practice of recognizing measure to measure what the chord changes are. Okay? That, I think, is the best possible way to teach a child. I've been doing it for a couple years now. I don't have like a degree in music, right? But from what I've seen, that's what the kids really want, because they want to play songs they know right away. The only way to do that is to teach them the circle of fifths and the circle of fourths, have them memorize those, and then they can instantly play those chord charts, which are technically easier than reading sheet music. So it works. You hook them on that, and then you start to teach them notation. But basically all of my students can do what I'm doing right now, which is amazing. So there definitely have been some situations in my life so far in my teaching career where I've had to explain this to people who are more traditional piano players, especially for their kids, because they want, you know, a certain kind of methodology, the Bastion books and all that stuff. And I'm down to teach all that stuff, but I don't think that there's any point in learning music if you're just going to memorize other people's music. I think that's very, very foolish. So I am a school that teaches a controversial way, I suppose. You know, it's not a typical school, you know. I just had a kid here the other day, right, who is an adult. He was an adult student, right? And he came in and he brought like pounds and pounds and pounds of books, you know, with him to the lesson. And I was just like, I don't have a fucking music stand. You know what I mean? I don't use music stands in my studio. Like if we went to your house and taught there, then I could have a stand. I could teach you that music, I suppose. But as an adult, I held my ground because the kid was like, I want to be a professional musician. And I was like, can you play by ear? And he was like, no, I've never tried that. And I was like, well, that's what you're going to come to the studio to learn how to do. I'm not going to be comfortable teaching you how to read sheet music here. This is not what we do here. You know what I mean? We do this. We make you marketable for real work in the real world, you know? So, I was disappointed I didn't get that student, but at the same time, I understood why I didn't get that student, you know? Because so much of the establishment of music education has seeped into, like, society, you know? So when people ask me, like people like yourself, you understand why this is possible because I have the theory and the practice and stuff. But when other people see it, they're like, oh, well, you know, you're going to teach my kid, like, Beethoven and stuff. It's like, no. I mean, yeah, but not at first. You know what I mean? Not the very first thing you learn. I'm going to teach them probably how to play Pokemon in like 12 different keys and truly teach them how to understand music. It's much better to understand it than to be able to play extremely difficult, complicated pieces. Understanding is why we teach. Okay? That's why I teach anyway. You know what? I can't deny, dude, I can't deny that's how I felt too, you know, but I tried to not make it seem like that's how, like, you know what I mean? I tried to be more polite about it. But like, I understand that to some degree. Sometimes, bro, the way it is with adults, okay, compared to children, the reason why my technique works so well is because it works with people who have never seen a piano. You know, like that's the reason why I can only really teach kids. Because once you become an adult, there's a lot of stuff like finger position, right? That it's a whole mess of things. Like when I watched this kid play, he wasn't a kid, he was like 20, right? But when I saw the kid play, I noticed that some of his fingering was a little weird on this stuff, you know, on the very, very basic stuff. And then on top of it, and I'm not saying that you're like this, but a lot of people have like this, at least the people that I run into, this kid in particular had this, I don't know what you would call it. Like, I showed him the circle of fifths, right? And he was like, oh, I have that document, I have that thing, I have that table. And I was like, cool, play me a E minor scale, right? Play me E minor. And he was like, I don't know how to play that. And I was like, okay, what's E minor's relative major scale? He was like, I don't know that either. And I was like, well, you just said you had the circle of fifths and that you knew it. So what do you mean you don't know? You know? I think it's maybe a form of like, what would you call that? I don't even know what you call that. Like a sense of entitlement almost? I don't even know if entitlement is the right word. Or almost like a know-it-all or something. Like, oh, I know that, I've heard of that before. And then you're not able to understand it, so you don't know it. You know? Just say that. Just say that. Kids don't have a problem saying that. Kids don't have a problem saying, I don't know. And then it's like, you know, you do know. Let's work it out. But they're more willing to say stuff like that. Usually, the types of adults that I work with they're like insecure about being told how to do something. I think that's the problem. You know, that's That's the real problem. The kids are already indoctrinated to listen to adults. Other adults do not listen to other adults, you know? So it's much easier to teach a child than it is to teach an adult, in my opinion. That's probably what that person was feeling, you know? She was probably seeing her playing and she thought it was good, but it's hard to unteach bad habits to adults. It's almost impossible because they're gonna have to go through this mental hurdle of like, this person is better than me and he's telling me how to do something that I think I'm pretty good at already. It's an ego thing, you know? I think that's what blocks it. But that's just my opinion. That's what happened to me once, so. So that kind of thing is more common than the thing that I was talking about, I feel. Most teachers do not understand, at least the ones that I've run into as well, you know, especially on piano, which is really strange, you know, because it's like the most complicated one, you know. You would think you would figure out an easier way to play the thing, you know. But yeah. She said she watched me playing chord inversions and she couldn't believe I taught myself how to do that. Well, it's, you know, it's common sense. Once you figure it out, it's common sense. What did blow my mind the one time though was I had this 18-year-old student and she was able to, on the fly, transpose music. I had never seen a child do that, a kid do that before. I haven't even seen many adults do that. So I learned something from my student in that way. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, she took 3 years to learn inversions. That's stupid. You know what I mean? You're stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that about a person, you know what I mean? But that's dumb. That's dumb. Especially as a teacher. You gotta know that kind of stuff. How are you gonna teach somebody if you can't figure out, you know what I mean? Not that she didn't know it at the time, you know what I mean? But 3 years is a long time to learn, you know, CGE, EGC, and it's a long time. And that sucks because inversions allow you to play these songs like with more color and easier fingering and not so much movement and everything. And it was probably a huge light bulb that went off in her head when she figured this out. But, you know, most of us figure this stuff out when we're younger. The fingers are numbers to her. She can't play anything without sheet music. Yeah, that's the way that this student was. That's the way the student was. I was like, this is not gonna work, bro. You know, this is not gonna work. Like, you're not willing to read the circle of fifths, even though you had it for years and stuff. You know, you don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you not want to do that? But, you know, what you're describing to me sounds exactly the way this kid was. He would be lost without his sheet music, you know?
John's out in Scotland, Steve. How do you like that? She can play Pirates of the Caribbean on the piano just reading. Ambient harmonics. What's going on with all these ambient names today? Maybe you guys should subscribe to each other, huh? I'm happy to see everybody in here, you know, having a good time, listening to this funky rolling Fantom right here. Pretty fun. All right, let's get groovy on that organ again, man. That organ really screams. What do you think of that organ?
talking about the Fantom? You guys talking about the Fantom right now? Can I talk about the Fantom too? Dude, I love this keyboard so much. I think it's the greatest invention ever. There's a YouTube video of me saying it's the greatest thing ever. I mean, this section right here, okay? This section right here alone is the greatest thing ever. I know, right? That's what I think too. I mean, that's what I think too. I think it's the greatest fucking keyboard ever to exist. It's three main sections for me. It's the faders, the screen, and then the pads. The pads I use every day. Look at that, no piano. Piano's gone. Didn't even have to touch the computer. It's amazing. Oh, there's that piano again. Let's drop something else out. What should we drop out instead? What's on 2? Oh, that's my vocal, I think. Oh, there's the hi-hats, right? But man, that's the coolest thing ever. I bought the keyboard, I bought it because of your video, but the polyphony is pants. Well, here's the thing about that. I have discovered a workaround, you know? I just record all this shit as a sequence into the DAW and then add sounds, because I knew that was going to be an issue. But I thought, I was watching that guy's video, right, with he's just demonstrating the polyphony issue. I know you guys can hear that, but I can't hear it. I can't hear a difference. When he's playing that stuff, I can't hear it. And I know that you guys can hear it, but I just can't. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna let it be. Whatever comes, you know? I know that you only use the pads to change zones. Okay, you're changing zones on that. So what I do, right, when I'm doing changing the organs, right, I'll change it to the organ. There's the organ. And then I use the ribbon controller over here. Hello. I use the ribbon controller to push it up so I can get the whirl. Then I switch quick. For me, it's easier to do with my left hand because I'm playing mostly solos with my right hand. You know what I mean? That's what I'd be doing. And then the pads bring in and out. I have them on mutes set up in the DAW. So I've muted out these parts now. For me, it's somehow easier to like do a crossover thing, either with like getting the pad on that side, but I'm just grabbing the... that ribbon controller with the reverb, it sounds crazy. Love that, man. The Prophet 6 is one of the greatest synths of all time. I've always wanted one. I thought about getting that Rev 6 or Rev 2. What did they call that? Dave made one before he died that I really liked. It was the Rev 2. And I really want to learn that because that looks really, 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 really fun. Honestly, I barely use the Moog anymore. The Moog is literally on the floor. You can't even see it in the camera, but it's like down there somewhere. Like down there. Which is a shame, you know. But I'm gonna start using it again soon. The only reason I haven't been is because my setup right now is I'm using the computer really heavy because of OBS and stuff and Ableton and stuff. So I'm just using my side table for, you know, the mouse and keyboard right now. Someday when I'm a super famous teacher and everybody learns the jazz way, I'll have a studio desk, Steve. I'll have a real studio desk made by the studio desk people out in Anaheim or whatever. You ever seen those people, man? They got some real shit out there. That's what I want. I want one of those desks. Maybe I'll put it on my Amazon wish list. You guys can put me in your will. Oh my god. You built your own desk, see? That's because you're a real man, Steve. I'm not, you know, I don't have those skills. The one I wanted, the chord prologue, right? Hey, maybe someday when my video editing skills actually progress, maybe they'll send us one, Steve. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll send us the shit so that we can play them, you know? I don't want that new montage. You know what? I thought about making a video about that montage, man. I'm angry. I'm angry about it. I don't understand why they can't put pads on everything. I don't get it. That's why I didn't buy it at first. That's why I didn't buy the old one. Because I was between that, the chord, and this, you know? Because I need it to do this shit. I need it to control the DAW. I need it to be able to have the pads. I need the zone selecting. I need it, you know? It just bothers me that these companies don't do that. Like Native Instruments just released a full-size keyboard with no faders and no pads. It is mind-blowing. It feels to me like they think we're stupid and they hate us and they don't want us to buy their toys, you know? Or at least for me, that's my feeling. This setup is the best setup they've ever made in the history of keyboards. That's why I think they like, you know, yeah, they want you to buy the machine. I get that, but I don't want to do that. Look, my opinion of what they're doing is controversial, right? That's probably why they won't like work with me at NAMM and all that other stuff, because I see what they're doing. They have a terrible business model. You know, Roland is a company that you can respect. They've been in the keyboard drum machine game for a long time. You know, they're not a new player. They've been making gear like this a long time, but this is the first time they've ever integrated with the DAW, had all this other stuff going on. I think it's the first of its ever. Well, I mean, Fantoms before had this stuff. They had the LCD, they had the zone select, they had the pads. I remember those, but not the DAW integration. And that's what I really wanted, because that was what I was doing with my other controllers. I had the MPC set up to trigger the DAW. I had the Presonus IO station, you know what I mean? And I didn't put a touchscreen on their new one either. I didn't realize it wasn't touchscreen. See, that's too much. They're not doing enough for us, Steve, you know? They're not doing enough. They need to do more. Like, for that kind of price range, I mean, that's why I thought when they made this at $2,000, I was like, I'm gonna buy that right now, because I had been waiting 5 years for them to make something like this. I was like, I don't care if I have to switch DAWs from Pro Tools to Fruity Loops or to fucking Ableton or whatever it happens to be, because it's worth it. It's gonna be worth it to me to have it already ready to go for Ableton. Like, this screen is amazing to me. This is amazing. We can switch over to the mixer. I can trigger different times. I can move in and out. I can move all over the fucking session, all from the freaking keyboard. Thank God. Thank God, you know, because going into the computer to do this stuff is not musical. It's not fun. It's time consuming. And it's just not conducive to creativity. It would take us ages to find these fucking organ sounds. It would take us ages to find piano sounds and switch them instantly. It's not possible. I could never do that at that speed. Just wouldn't be a thing. I mean, they could do it with other gear, obviously, but you would have to finagle it in some way. Not here. They built it they designed it to be easy for me. Thank you, Roland. Worth the money. Worth every single penny I paid for this. Incredible instrument, man. Tonight was fun, man. It's always fun playing for you guys, especially you, Steve, talking about Roland and stuff, man. It's amazing. Steve, you really ought to make content for this stuff. You know, because the thing is that when you do make content for the Fantom, so many people from around the world have their, you know what I mean? Just not enough of us make content about it. There's only a few people that really dedicate time to this. We need more people, bro. That's gonna be the key, you know? Because, like, the kids don't know. The kids do not know how powerful this is. When they come into the studio, my studio, and they see this and they hear this, they're like, holy shit. You know, this is like way cooler than my little keyboard at home, you know? So it's like up to us, you know? We gotta carry the torch for rolling down here, you know? No more machine pads. Fuck machine. Alright, guys. Steve, thanks for hanging out with me, man. You're the one, man. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys have a great day. I played for an hour today, guys. That's pretty good, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, because tomorrow's Saturday, and I'll make sure I come up with something cool, just like we did tonight for this particular piece, and you know, maybe when the stream gets really big, I'll start asking you guys what key signature to make all this stuff, you know? One person can tell me the key signature, another person can tell me the tempo. That would be cool, right? Alright, guys, peace out. Till tomorrow.